Salute, 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 salute. Welcome to the Real Big Fruit Podcast. I am your host, Big Fruit, the Michael Jordan of recording, early in the morning, also known as the voice of the streets, but better known as the glue, because I like to keep things together, keep them in a proper perspective. How y'all doing out there early this morning? How y'all doing out there early this morning? It's Saturday, is the weekend. I got a lot going on. I'm going to be working. So if you tapped into the Real Big Fruit Podcast, first and foremost, you come through the building, you subscribe, you like, you comment, and you share. Let's get the Real Big Fruit Podcast where he need to be. I'm going to be working all day for y'all. But y'all see the title right now, right? Butchy's the hole in the wall or any rock. Yo, I am sitting here laughing inside because I can't believe I'm actually sitting here telling you this story about those times. Yo, this was a funny time for me, man. Butchy's. Butchy's was a hole in the wall, little spot, little game room on NA Rock. It was on Notion between Kosciuszko and Lafayette. Notion between Kosciuszko and Lafayette, right? Yeah, I think that's the block it was on. Little hole in the wall, you know what I'm saying? It was just a little spot that a local dude decided he had a little game room. He said, I'm gonna give these teenagers something to do other than be in the street in the cold, because it was the wintertime. And it was all about the youth, you know what I'm saying? Giving the youth something to do. At least I think that's what he thought. Because I don't believe he was trying to get rich off a couple of fucking pinball machines and video games and only charging $1 at the door. How rich could you try to get off that? You know what I'm saying? So it was more about giving the kids something to do and somewhere to go. And you know what they say, you can't take Brooklyn niggas nowhere, right? That shit start early. Because it wasn't long before Butchy's, the hole in the wall spot, got out of control. This had to be, I came home from the 6th building in 9-1, November 9-1, it was Thanksgiving 91. So we talking late 91, going into 92. We talking 91 winter, going into 92. Butchie's was that spot. And that winter, are you talking December 92, 91, January 92, February 92, them little 90 days. Butchie's was a hell of a spot, son. I mean, every Saturday night, something went down in Butchie's. Yo, I can recall the incidents, bro. This was the time when me, rest in peace, Ron K, and Stack a Dollar, a.k.a. Stack Pacino. This was when me, Stack, and Ron K was running 3 deep. Oh, my God. We was off the chitang, son. And at those times, you had to carry a hammer on you. At those times, you had a hammer on you every day, all day. Even if there wasn't no smoke, even if you wasn't going to use it, like you had to, you just had to have your hammer on you. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. And you never mistaken or doubted if the next man had his hammer on him. It was those type of times. You know what I'm saying? It was those type of times. Motherfucker had a hammer on him everywhere he was. So it wasn't long before motherfuckers was up in Butchie's with hammers on them. Now, Butchie's, like I said, it was a little hole in the wall in the back of the motherfucking store. He had a little area where he threw all the music and the DJ and motherfuckers dance, smoke weed, drink beer, all that other crazy shit. In the dark, no lights. And niggas had hammers on. Man, I can recall a couple incidents, man, where shit got crazy. One time, shit got crazy. It was a bunch of NA Rock niggas in there. Shout out to all my NA Rock guys who was fucking with Butchies at the time. There's so many of y'all. It's too many to name, but y'all know who y'all be. We had our little LG mob, you know what I'm saying? We had Fat Mom and all them coming through from Tompkins, something and all that shit. They had their little crew, you know what I'm saying? LG had a little crew. NA Rock was representing their hood. And then you had 4 green dudes who was coming through. And you had some 4 green dudes that was fucking with LG dudes. You had some 4 green dudes that was fucking with NA Rock dudes. Then you had the 4 green dudes that just was stragglers. So 4 green was kind of thick too down there. And I can recall one incident when something happened. Niggas was getting a little rowdy. And I found myself in the corner, gripped up with my hand on my hammer, and a nigga Diggy. Shout out to my boy Diggy Dog. Diggy, yeah, this is I think Diggy had just came home from the 4 building. Yeah, Diggy had just came home. I came home from the 6 building. I think Diggy was just coming home from the 4 building. And me and Diggy was side by side of that motherfucker. Diggy was gripped up. I was gripped up. Now in my mind, I'm saying, yo, this nigga gripped up on how many guns is in this motherfucker? Diggy had that big 4-1 on him. He was like, yo, you dirty? I was like, indeed. He was like, yo, me too. So we both had our back on the wall. And lo and behold, some shit jumped off. Niggas start firing, and me and Diggy had to get up out of that motherfucker back to back. Another time in that motherfucker, Butchies was like that, son. Butchies was like that. Another time in that motherfucker, LG, we ran into the Roosevelt boys. Yeah, rest in peace to B-Stick and rest in peace to Kev Webb. Yeah, at that time, you know what I'm saying, I was beefing with the boy Kev. Yeah, over some boosts and shit, hemming them chicks in my projects. You know what I'm saying? Me fucking with them, they no good. They always keep a nigga in some shit. I fucked around and threw some shots at Kev vehicle for them. And lo and behold, like a couple weeks later, we bumped heads in Butchies. Yeah, son, in Butchies. That's where that shit started with me and Kev Webb. I threw some shots at his whip. I ran into him in Butchies, scratched the nigga all up in Butchies like we was in the 4 building in the bullpen. Jumped on that nigga in Butchies. So when he came through the 4 building a year later, I was in the bag. He was like, ah, man. Heck was like, yo, you got beef with that nigga? I was like, yeah. Heck, and the niggas punishing that nigga up in 4. Word, son. Yeah, Butchies had a legacy. And then it was the notorious bang out in that motherfucker, son. It was a notorious bang out in that motherfucker. Rest in peace to Ron K. It was a notorious bang out. I don't know. Somebody actually fired a shot in Butchies. And when they fired the shot in Butchies, man, that's when all bets was off. In that little back area, about 4 or 5 dudes pulled out pistols. Niggas was laying out shots. I think a girl got shot in the club. She was shot while she was under the pool table. Got outside. Peter Rab was hitting his back. Shit was crazy. Yeah, that was a wild night in Butchies. And I think that's what closed Butchies, because that night when we had to rush Peter Rab to the hospital, a bunch of chaos went down. And then the day after that, the motherfuckers ran through LG and started snatching motherfuckers, son. That's a story too in itself. You know what I'm saying? But Peter Rab got hit in his back that night. And I think that's what officially closed Butchies. Because when Peter Rab got hit, that's not the bullet, that's not the shot that paralyzed him. Peter Rab did get hit in his back at Butchies. So he got hit in his back twice, actually. When he got hit in his back in Butchies and shit, that's what officially closed Butchies, because they ran up in Butchies. The police ran up in there. They snatched Butchie up. And if I'm not mistaken, they was trying to charge Butchie. They was trying to charge Butchie with Peter Rab's shooting, because although he may have got hit he may have got hit in Butchie's, he was laying outside in front of Butchie's on the floor when we put him in the ambulance and all that shit. But I think they ran up in there, they arrest Butchie for that shit, and they whipped his ass, son. Yeah, they whipped Butchie's ass, man. I ran into Butchie in the bullpen. He had black eye, busted lip, 79th precinct, put a ass whooping on Butchie. I think they charged him with Peter Rab shooting. He didn't get convicted of that shit, but I think they charged him with that shit and they closed Butchie's, and that shit is no longer in existence. Butchie closed that night. Word, Butchie's was a motherfucker, man. Butchie's led to another story. You know what I'm saying? They ran through, like I said, that led to another story where the homicide ran through up in LG. You know what I'm saying? That's another story added on to the Real Big Fruit autobiography. You're going to have to pay for that one, because that's exclusive shit. And shout out to my boy Rayon, a.k.a. Ramos. You know what I'm saying? We went through the ringer on that one, and only we have that story. You know what I'm saying? Only we have that story. You know what I'm saying? And only we can deliver that story. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we went through the ringer for that shit that went down in Butchie's, son. We definitely went through the ringer for that shit that went down in Butchie's. You know what I'm saying? Butchie's was a hole in the wall, man. And he gave the shorties a place to hang out. 9-1, 9-2 winner. Word, son. Butchie's was rocking. Butchie's was rocking. All the little chicks down in Sumner, Tompkins, Marcy. Y'all know what it is because y'all was in Butchy's A Saturday night with the homies. You know what I'm saying? NA Rock was the spot. Shout out to Shamel, Cuckoo B. You know what I'm saying? The Red Hook boys, they used to pull up. You know what I'm saying? He word the brother, free Cuckoo B. Yeah, Butchie's was the spot. Butchie's was the spot. Word. $1. $1. All nighter. Nigga be at Butchie's all night, winding on something. Word. I still remember. That's when Das Effects first dropped out. If Das Effects first dropped their first banger, they want effects. Butchie's. Cypress Hill. Here is something you can't understand. Butchie's. You know what I'm saying? Word. All that rude boy shit. You know what I'm saying? Ting-a-ling-a-ling. Butchie's. You know what I'm saying? Shaba. You know what I'm saying? Word. All that shit, son. Yeah, Butchie's was the spot. Word. It ain't rock to the casket drop. Word. You know what I'm saying? But Butchie's got some exclusive shit too, so that we ain't gonna rap about. Butchie's was definitely that spot. You know what I'm saying? I was laughing when I said, yo, I gotta finally tell a Butchie story. You know what I'm saying? I was laughing to myself saying, yo, I'm really sitting here telling the Butchie story. But yeah, that's what it was, son. Butchie's was a hole in the wall, but Butchie's was a nice spot, son. A lot of memories, man. So if you hung out in Butchie's 9-1, 9-2, and you was in the building, let me hear from you in the comments, son. I know you got some stories. And if you was there for any of them wild incidents that took place, I know you got some stories. Because it was rocking every Saturday night, son. Every Saturday, Butchie's was getting closed. And then it would open the next Saturday. But that last time when Peter Rab got shot and they ran up in there and they beat Butchie ass and arrested him, that was the end of Butchie's. But something happened every Saturday night, son. You had to be gripped up in that motherfucker. If you ain't have your hand on your pistol, you had a gym star in your hand the whole time you was in that motherfucker. Butchie's was like that. Butchie's was like that. You know what I'm saying? I was gripped up in there, and if I ain't have a hammer on me, I had a burn on me. And that's how I scratched Kev Webb. Word, son. I kept a hammer on me or a gym star. Butchie's was like that. 9-1. Word the mother. Listen, man, it's your boy Big Fruit. You know how I do. I come through 6 minutes, Dougie. I say what it is and say what it ain't. You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to get on here and do a joint for Butchie's, man, because that was my spot. That was my spot. I had a lot of fun in Butchie's, man. I had a lot of fun in Butchie's, man. Butchie's might have saved my life, too, because, like I said, me and Ramos went through the ringer. You know what I'm saying? Homicide ran through LG and they ain't asked no questions. They just threw cuffs on niggas. You know what I mean? But that's another story in itself. Exclusive shit. You know what I'm saying? But Butchie's might have saved our lives. Word the mother. Because Butchie gave a nigga his alibi. Word the mother. Butchie's might have saved a nigga life. But like I said, man, you know how I do. I come through 6 minutes again, say what it is, say what it ain't. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to drop this exclusive content on the Butchie's hole in the wall on NA Rock 9192. If you know, you know. You had to be there, son. You had to be there. You know what I mean? You had to be there. But until next time, y'all know what it is. It's your boy Big Fruit. Like I said, I'm going to be working all day, so y'all make sure y'all stay tapped in. You know what I'm doing today. Y'all know what else I'm doing today. I'm bringing y'all Bogard today, so y'all better stay on point. Until next time, y'all know what it is. Salute.